Hello, welcome to Agape Learning Tools Episode 5 podcast. I am your host, Janae McKnight, and I would just like to tell you that our title for today is about setting boundaries as educators. I know sometimes when we hear the word boundaries, we think that's a negative word and that it carries a negative connotation. But today it's a good thing to set boundaries as an educator. So, a basic definition of a boundary is basically a boundary is like a property line. It tells you where something begins and where something ends. And so that is what we as educators have to set for ourselves because we know that our health depends on it, our family depends on it, and our overall quality of life depends on it. So, educators must set boundaries for themselves and clearly define for themselves and for others their limits. For example, they must set how far they are willing to go, how far they will and will not settle for. So, for example, they have to set limits for what they will do and what they won't do, what they will tolerate in their classrooms and what they will not tolerate in their classrooms. They have to set boundaries for their desires. So, I desire for you to succeed, but if you don't desire to succeed for yourself, then there is nothing that I can really do about that. All I can do is try to influence you to want to succeed also. But educators have to set boundaries for their desires because sometimes we can want it so bad for our students, for our colleagues. We want them to succeed, but sometimes just within them, they do not have that desire. So, all I would advise you in those situations is to continue to advise them, to continue to pour into them, encourage them, but not at the risk of your own self. At your own self, after so long, it's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to continue to encourage you the best that I can, but I'm not going to get sad or depressed or upset about it if you choose not to want to succeed. Another thing is that, you want yourself to achieve, but don't be so hard on yourself, even with achieving, because sometimes you may fail and sometimes there's a lesson in the failing. So it's okay if I fall. It's okay if I don't succeed in an area. That is okay. So you have to learn how to be okay with not being perfect. Okay. So that's another area. And another area is we have to also set boundaries for our desires to grow. One thing is that you want to grow wherever you are, but sometimes there's a season that might be stagnant. And so, in that stagnant season, that's basically when you want to learn something new, you want to try something new or try something different. And when you do that, you will fulfill your desire to grow. So that's another thing. Don't be down on yourself if you feel like, oh, I'm not growing. Change it, do something about it. Okay. Another thing also that an area that you want to grow in is you want to grow in your values. You want to grow in your values and also in your, not necessarily grow, but you want to set a boundary in your values and you want to set a boundary in your morals and things along that, your important morals. You want to set boundaries there because if it's something that goes against your values, it goes against your morals, if it's something like that, then you have to set a boundary for other people and let them know that they cannot cross this boundary in your life, that you will not accept doing anything that goes against your morals and your values. And so you have to establish that boundary with your students, with your parents, with your administrators, with your colleagues. There's just some things that you are not willing to do. If it's something that, let's say, for example, if you have to lie or you have to be deceitful in a situation and you know that that's not in your character, that's not the type of person that you are, then you do not have to honor that. And there is a way for you to escape from that. So therefore, you have to set those boundaries and let people know, no, I will not do that because it goes against my values and my morals. Okay. Another thing also that we have to set boundaries in is in our feelings. We can't be led by our feelings. It's okay to have feelings, but you can't be led always by your feelings because feelings are deceptive. Sometimes, you may feel one way and then it's like, that's really not how it is. And then also, you like, for example, you might feel, very disturbed about something, and it may not even be the way that you think it is. It may be a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. And so also you have to, think about your feelings. Like, if you're disappointed, don't allow yourself to spiral out. Don't allow yourself to spiral all the way down into despair, into disappointment. Raise yourself back up and know that you are worthy, you are better than that, and that nobody should be able to tear you down or take you to some place that you don't want to be. If you're in a toxic environment, if you're around toxic people, get out. Find your way out, decide what you're going to do, but don't allow anyone or anything to spiral you out to the point where you feel like you can't make it anymore. Sometimes people nowadays, they're thinking that suicide is the only way out. It is not the only way out. Sometimes it's just a simple decision that you must make in order for you to retain or to restore your joy or your happiness in a situation. All right. So some examples of boundaries include our language. Our language is basically one of the most basic boundaries that you can use to set a boundary. Your words or your lack of them really begins to define who you are. So you don't want to not establish your words with people, because that's how they know who you are, and that's what sets boundaries with other people. So if you, for example, if you tell somebody that, hey, I am not, let's say that you say, I am not that person that you think I am. I am not a liar. And so if you say that I am not a liar, then that's the thing. That's what you are not. You have used your words. You have told them that that is not who you are. And then whether they choose to believe it or not, that's up to them. The same thing, you have to have a strong no in your belly. You got to have a strong no on the inside, because sometimes people will keep asking you if you're always a yes person. If you always say yes to everything that someone asks you to do, then, they are just going to keep misusing you. So you have to be able to say no to people and not have any repercussions. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't keep talking about it. Hey, I said no. That's it. That's the bottom. That's the bottom line. And then you have to be able to know when it's time for you to say yes. Sometimes it's time for you to say yes to something, but fear, doubt, unbelief, things like that may try to step in and make you, feel like you can't say yes to something, whether it's something new, something challenging, something you've never done before. It's okay to say yes. And that is one of the ways that you are setting a boundary for yourself. You're saying that I'm saying yes because I believe I can do it, not because of what you want me to do. Also, you also want to set a boundary by saying, I will, or I like that. So it's okay to like things. Let people know that I'm setting this boundary. I'm saying this. I'm saying that I like this, and this is something that I want to be a part of. Too many times we're a part of things that we have no desire to be a part of, that we don't like, that we're very disappointed that we're a part of, and we just did it to please somebody else. No, set a boundary for yourself. And, life is too short for us not to enjoy our every moment and our every day in this life. So learn to share what you do like and what you don't like. And don't get involved in things that you don't like. Don't get involved with people that you don't like. You still can love them. You can still, like them from a distance, but you don't have to be constantly around people that you don't like, things that you don't like. Okay. And so one of the most important areas for educators is for you to set boundaries with your time. And so I'm going to give you 5 ways to set boundaries with your time. Number 1, leave work at school. I said it. Yes, I went on and I said it. Spend quality time with your family. You can be replaced on your job, but you cannot be replaced with your family. So take time to take care of yourself, take care of your health, because guess what? Your job is going to replace you before the dirt dries on your body. Before you're put in the ground good, they will have replaced you. Your family, however, will continue to grieve you, continue to feel sad that they didn't get to spend more time with you. So spend quality time with your family. No job is worth you not spending time with your family. So you have to learn how to leave work at work. Number 2, keep your cell phone private from parents, and it may be even have to be private from some of your colleagues. Don't respond after a certain time of day to school-related calls. You just need to sometimes clear your head, get rid of the thoughts of totally thinking about school, period. So sometimes you want to just, say, hey, I'm going to take calls up until 5 o'clock. After 5 o'clock is my family time. It's my time. It's me time. And I do not want to hear about school. I don't want to talk about school. I don't want to talk about anybody at school, and just let that be so that you could just clear your head, clear your conscience, and relax. Number 3, don't put work email on your phone. If you can help it, if you're not like a school principal or something along those lines, don't put school email on your phone, because once you put it on your phone, every time your phone dings or every time you look at your emails, and maybe your personal emails, there you go. You have all of these school emails. Everybody's trouble is on your shoulders. And now, again, you're frustrated, you're upset, you're thinking about that stuff. And even though you may say, I'm not going to look at it, I'm not going to think about it, if you look at it, you're going to think about it. You're going to think about that teacher that's struggling. You're going to think about, those things that are piled up on your plate for Monday to do. So don't put your work email on your phone. Number 4, take mental breaks at work. Sometimes you just need to take a break. And I know we only have so long on our lunch hour, on our planning period. Sometimes you may need to take like 10 or 15 minutes of your planning, turn all the lights down low, put on some soothing music, and just sit and do some deep breathing. Sit, pray, sit and meditate. Sit and think about some things that encourage you, that build you up. Don't allow, like I said before, yourself to spiral down, to keep working through your planning, keep working through your break time, your lunchtime. No, take that time, to relax, to get yourself back, to be ready for your students when they come back, to be refreshed. And so that is number 4, take mental breaks at work. All right. Number 5, don't be bullied or guilted into giving up personal time for work. So a lot of times administrators and, people try to say, oh, it's mandatory. You have to be here on a Saturday. Technically, you don't, because those are non-contracted hours. Now, again, if you're in an administrative role, check your contract. But technically, you should not be asked to do those types of things on your weekends. You may have plans with your family to be out of town. You shouldn't be canceling vacation because you have a work-related something to do. You should be able to go with your family, to spend time away from work. So anytime after your work hours on the weekend, no, you have to get that strong no and say, no, I can't be there. All right. And so don't allow workplace bullies to bully you or to make you feel like, oh, you gonna miss it, or you supposed to be there, and this, that, and the other, your pay gonna get docked and this, that. No, do not allow yourself to be bullied. And sometimes there could be a lot of workplace bullies, that do things to make you feel guilty, to make you feel, less than. And it's just like a classroom, just like somebody that's a bully to a kid. They just keep coming and keep making you feel bad. And if that's the case, that's not a good environment for you if you're always feeling guilty or bullied into doing things. And it's not because you want to do them. If you want to do it, that's up to you. But don't do it because of being guilted into it. Okay? So today I have shared with you several areas that you can set boundaries for yourselves. You can set your limits, okay? Set them in your desires, your values, and your feelings. Some examples of your boundaries include setting boundaries with your words. Let your no be no, your yes be yes. Know what you will do and won't do. Know what you like and what you don't like. Also, most important, set boundaries regarding your time. Leave work at work. Keep your cell phone private from parents and from educators if you need to. Don't put your work email on your phone. Take mental breaks, okay, at work, and don't be bullied or guilted into doing anything on your personal time for work. Okay, so I hope that you guys got something out of today's message, out of today's lesson. So I just want you guys to continue to join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and on Anchor, as well as if you would like some educational coaching from me or from my husband or from my brother, you can contact us by going to agapelearningtools.com and signing up for time with us. All right. So I hope you have learned something today. Enjoy yourself as you set those boundaries for yourself. Bye, educators.